It's October. It's autumn. It's supposed to be sweater weather, but we're on like day 3 of 4 of really warm temperatures, even with a little bit of humidity. So we're going to go out earlier in the morning to avoid that really warm afternoon. And Linus is not impressed. He's giving me a little bit of the side eye. Hunter's pouting in his bed too. And whenever the dogs are going to be left alone, I try and keep music on for them just so they know what's coming, just to kind of have a cozy environment. You know, the house isn't too quiet, like they have that little bit of noise. So I did like one of the YouTube channels with a little bit of the jazz music, and I decided to put Snoopy on, just something different. And they know it's coming, and I just find it helps relax them, reduces their stress and everything, and just sets that cozy environment. So Linus was falling asleep, Hunter was fighting, trying to keep his eyes from closing. So it works for them. I know it sounds silly, but I like to do something special for the boys whenever they're going to be home alone. Our first stop was Home Depot. We needed to get a couple of things for some home projects, and it was really nice to see all the mums still out, obviously in full bloom. Andrew's favorite color is yellow. And it was nice to be like walking up to the store and seeing all of the vibrant colors. But I know that these ones are more expensive than compared to Walmart and grocery stores. And, you know, people want to decorate, but they want to save a little bit too, just with the cost of everything. And then I was teasing Steve that we should pick up some of these plants here because part of our backyard where our pool used to be, we're having a really hard time growing grass. But it was nice to see all of the beautiful mums. I don't know if anybody's going to buy these, maybe if they get reduced. But I was disappointed because I didn't realize that Home Depot does displays. I remember last year we saw a few things at Christmas time. So it was pretty picked over, but Andrew likes all of the little interactive things. So there's still a few of them here. So we did the best we could, get them going, see what there was. Obviously, some of them, the batteries isn't working. So we had to move over to the next one to see what it did. And it was nice to see, but everything is kind of getting reduced in price, like any of the display models, because obviously they want to get rid of them. So there was one woman that was buying a few things and they were packing them up for her. So I was a little bit disappointed. And I need to make a mental note to do this before Christmas gets too busy. That was really what I wanted to do for Spirit Halloween. I wanted to go before it got too busy, and we went at the perfect time. I don't know if this one was broken. She was just kind of like moving her mouth, but nothing was really coming out. And then these were some of the display models that were kind of reduced in price. They still had a lot of the blow-ups and just, you know, the big skeletons. I know there's all sorts of them. I really like when they dress them up for Halloween. There was one year that was dressed up as Britney Spears as like a schoolgirl. But we know it's coming. All of the shelves are ready for all of the Christmas inflatables. And I need to remember to go early in the season when everything is fresh. And then we were going for a little walk, and there was a lookout and all that we wanted to see. And it was really beautiful. I know the camera doesn't pick it all up. It was kind of foggy. It was like a little bit of humidity was starting to set in. And we're just trying to get to the lookout, see what everything is, and just share it with you. This is definitely farm country. So there was a lot of the cornfields, and like I said, it's amazing to see that some things have already changed and are the full fall colors. And then there's parts of the trees and everything that are still green. So this was really pretty. It would have been a really nice puzzle. I have my cell phone and then everything's zoomed in, so it's not the highest quality. I do apologize for that, but I just wanted to share a little bit of the beauty of nature where I live. It is a beautiful time of the year, and it's really nice just to take the time and slow down and soak it all in. Then I come home to this, less than a week ago, these trees were still green, and then they just changed so quickly. And now the leaves are falling to the ground. And these trees didn't get as nice as they usually do because we had such a warm, dry summer. It makes me sad to see the leaves falling and seeing the bare trees because we know what's coming. And then my little sign says the leaves are falling and my coffee is calling. And I should be able to change it out with an iced coffee because it was a little too warm today to enjoy a nice hot coffee. So we got out and enjoyed the cooler morning, and now I'm going to make some buttermilk pancakes, and I've been wanting to make this caramelized apple topping for pancakes. I will link both of these recipes down below, and I'm using 2 gala apples, and I'm also going to do some turkey bacon, and I'm just going to do it in the oven. It's so much simpler than regular bacon. I am multitasking. I have bacon in the oven. I melted the butter for the pancakes. I need to let it cool, so I'm going to work on the apple topping. So you start off with a tablespoon of butter and then you add in the apples. The recipe says 2 medium-sized apples of your choice. I'm using Gala, so I know it's going to take a little while for them to get soft. So I went ahead and did the dry ingredients, and now I'm going to work on the wet ingredients. Now the recipe calls for 3 cups of buttermilk and I think half a cup of milk, but I want to finish up this buttermilk, so I'm almost using the full 3.5 cups of the buttermilk. I don't really think it made that big of a difference. I just wanted to make sure that I used it all up, and then I finished it off with a little bit of milk. And then you're going to go ahead and add 3 eggs into this, and then just whisk it all up. And now you'd be putting in the melted butter, but I want to keep an eye on the apples. I do know that, it will vary on what type of apple that you use, because whenever I do my apple crisp, the Gala apple stays very firm, but when I do the Macintosh, they get very soft and mushy. So just be very mindful of whatever apple you're using. And then I'm just going to go ahead and flip over the turkey bacon. Even when I cook regular bacon, I find when I flip it over, it just cooks a lot better. And you really have to, do a little bit of trial and error to figure out which method works for you doing bacon in the oven, and just stay close to it because it can get away from you very quickly. So now I'm adding in the melted butter, just whisking it all in, getting everything ready, and just trying to do a little bit of tidy. So move back to the apples. They've definitely cooked long enough now. So you just add in the sugar, the tablespoon of honey, and then cinnamon, and then it says to cook for 1 to 2 minutes. And as I stirred this up, I could see the bottom was starting to get a little bit brown, but I really wish I would have used more apples for this. It says 6 servings, but I really felt like there wasn't a lot of apple, but we'll see. I haven't made this before. I wanted to stick to the recipe to see how it was. So now I'm back to the pancakes, and you put the wet ingredients into the dry and then just mix it, mix it, mix it. You don't want to over mix it, but I also don't want to have big lumps of flour at the bottom. So the 2 minutes is up, and then I'm adding in a tablespoon of butter, and it says cook until melted, and the caramel applesauce is slightly thickened. I found there was a lot of sauce. It was very bubbly, so I'm just melting the butter, and then I'm just going to kind of remove it from the heat. I'm just checking on the bacon too, because I want to make sure that it doesn't burn, and then we're going to start making the pancakes. Now this recipe says to mix the ingredients when you're ready to make them, and earlier in Vlogtober, I did a Pioneer Woman recipe of apple cinnamon pancakes, and it said to let it sit for 45 minutes. I much prefer these pancakes. I find they're bigger and fluffier and nicer tasting. So I've always done that with these pancakes, and I think the next time I make the Pioneer Woman apple cinnamon ones, I am going to cook them immediately, because you can see how bubbly and just how fluffy they are. These are my favorite pancakes. And I have this little spatula from the Pampered Chef. I love it. It is just the perfect little size, and it's great for these pancakes. Here's the finished product, a little bit of whipped cream and cinnamon. It was really good, but I felt like it needed more apple. I thought they were medium apples, but I think having a precise measurement of 1 cup of chopped apples or whatever would have been a little bit more helpful for me. I would make it again, but I think I would add more apples to it. And every time I make these pancakes, I always freeze some. So I have 2 containers to the freezer and then a container for leftovers. We enjoyed the rest of our day, and then I started a little project in the evening, and this is something I started last year with like my Christmas recipes and then my regular recipes, and I wanted to do something for autumn. So I had gotten this book earlier this month. I think you saw it when I went to Dollarama, and I wanted to do something for autumn. So I was looking for a picture. I saw this like Hello Burr Months. I thought it was really cute. I printed it, cut it out, put it on like some scrapbooking paper, but I don't want the Burr months. I want like autumn, like to have those recipes after a long hot summer. Like you're so excited to make soup and those comfort meals. So I think I have a few like to add this year, and there's still a few more that I want to try and make. But this is a little bit more of a personal journey for me, just with my mom's memory issues and all of that. Like some of her recipes are in her handwriting and I treasure it, and that's something that I'm trying to figure out, if I want to do them in my own handwriting or just the printed copies with the little notes and everything. But just for myself and whatever the future holds and everything, like, I'm thankful to be able to try and work on some recipes and then ones that I've made for years. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. So I just wanted to share a little bit of it with all of you. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.